Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's going on, everybody? Well, it's another beautiful day, and I just am grateful that I'm here today, able to do this video podcast. And you know how I like to get my video podcasts always started with a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. So, if you would please, a moment of silence. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay, well, let's get started. Well, how's it going, everybody? Man, today is Thursday, and it is a beautiful day here in the city where I live in, and that is San Antonio, Texas. And I hope that you're doing well in your city and wherever it is that you reside. So, you know what? I wanted to talk to you today about prayer in the journey of recovery and addiction, and you know, it is it prayer is a, in a sense, touchy subject, if you will, because there are a lot of people who are dealing with addiction and who don't necessarily um, believe in the prayer. And in other words, they aren't engaging and they don't feel a tangible engagement with a higher power of some sort. And I know personally, in my own personal experience in my recovery and in my spirituality and in my journey, I have a tangible um, relationship existence with my higher power. And it's not necessarily something that, when I say tangible, I'm not, I don't mean tangible in the sense that I got this, you know, prop or this, you know, thing that I can touch, but I got this thing that I can spiritually and emotionally and mentally feel. So that is the tangibility that I'm talking about. And, you know, in my journey, it hasn't always been like that. And it hasn't always been, you know, quote unquote roses, if you will. And so it has, it's been tough at times, you know what I mean? But those are, as they say you know, I don't want to get into the whole religion thing, but as they say in a religious aspect, you know, it is it's it's something that you, I guess, I don't, well, let me back off a little bit there, because I don't want to make this a whole. I want to be able to relay a message where you understand where I'm coming from, and you know, I know that. Okay, let me see. How am I going to do this? I'm gonna. What I'll do is I'm gonna back up, and I'm gonna start with obviously my own journey, right? Because it's ultimately, this is what I like to discuss subjects and topics, how they how they are involved in my personal journey, and then, you know, we can elaborate then thereof. So um, I've always been involved in religion since I was a little kid, right? And you know, it wasn't like my choice. You know, I was born into this. So, you know, as a child born into a family who was strictly and predominantly Catholic and who were real religious, church-going people. And what I mean by that is both my parents were church-going folks. Their parents, were the same. So the foundation and base of religion in my background is very strong. You know what I mean? So since I was a little kid, I was always, taught that there is a God and do what God says, and if you don't, you'll have to answer to the devil. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. So it was a little intimidating and scary at times that, you're doing something when you knew you did something wrong. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to get punished not only by mom and dad, but the devil's coming for me. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a freaky thing, you know what I mean? And so, in the world of recovery and addiction, it's imperative that you understand when in any meeting that you go to, AA or NA, and any type of 12-step program and that sort of thing, they have this thing where they saying that part of the journey of doing a program like that is interconnecting with a higher power of your understanding. And I really like that because, as you get older and you then have choice, right? You have this choice of believing what you want to believe in, doing what you want to do. And it's one of the luxuries that we have in living in a country like we do, is that we get to pick and choose the things that we listen to, the things that we do, the things that we let into our lives, and we're fortunate, right? And so it is a beautiful thing to know that I can choose any religion and believe in any higher power that I want to, if it means that's what I can use to overcome a habit that is destroying my life. You know what I mean? And, but for me personally, I believe that there's a God, right? And, I can remember in my early days of addiction praying and asking God to, come into my life and take over and do whatever you gotta, whatever God thinks you gotta do. I need you to do it because, right now I'm struggling in my addiction because, I'm not able to get high the right way. You know what I mean? And it's just the cunning and baffling part of the disease is it makes you think that you can make sense out of your addiction in a sense, and that's what I would do. And I would be like, okay, well, I can't get high and do whatever I gotta do if it's gotta be done this way. So if I can do it this way and still maintain the addiction and still maintain everything else, then that's where I need to be. This is the fine line. This is what I'm praying for. This is what I need. Now God shall you ask and you shall receive, right? It's not that simple. And no, it's not going to happen like that. But, the addictive mind has you thinking like that. And that's where that is the fine line of the what I call the devil, Satan, the bad entity that likes to convince you that you're making sense. And, when I do my prayers before my meditation, I'll, recite the Serenity Prayer, I'll recite the Our Father prayer, and a lot of people have asked me, well, how do you pray, or what do you do when you pray? Like, how do you do that? Like, is there, there's a part in Scripture that's God sends His Son Jesus up into this mountain and gives him this Our Father prayer. Now, the Father prayer is put exactly for that. This is how you're going to pray. This is what, if you want something from me, this is how you do it. And he recites that prayer, and if you understand that prayer, and I'm going to pull it up here because I want to kind of dissect it a little bit. If you give me a second. Let me take these off. Okay, there we go. Okay. The prayer goes like this. It says, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Now let's do that first part. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. You know what that means is that you can pray to anything that you want to, but what you're doing here is you're praying to your Father. In other words, you're praying to the heavens. You're praying to the Father who is in heaven. Hallowed be the holy. Hallowed be thy name. That means the holy name, the holy one, the best. You're going you're praying to the highest thing that you can pray for. Okay, so that it wipes out everything that is in existence. It wipes it out. It's not telling you to pray for, the high priest or the church, anything like that, or to a Buddha or to the Quran. It's not telling you to do any of that. What it's telling you is you're praying to the heavens and the holiest name in Our Father, hallowed be thy name. So that right there eliminates everything. In other words, you're only praying. In other words, it's almost like an invitation of a personal one-on-one consultation with your higher power, right? And so the next part of it goes, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Now on earth as it is in heaven. And what you're doing there is that you're praying to the highest power, to your higher power, that is over all the kingdoms in every existence. And you want to call upon that to come into your kingdom, which is on earth, and give you something as it is in heaven. You know what I mean? So that's very, very powerful of a prayer, and to know that this is something that God said, this is how I want you to pray. He's telling his Son, you know what I mean? The very piece of him, he's telling his Son, like, this is, if you want to talk to me, this is how you got to do it. You know what I mean? And no other way is there. No other way is there for you to ask me that, or for you to pray. You know what I mean? Nowhere else in that, in the book is it saying that God, said, okay, well, for today, just for now, I want you to, while you're in this world of addiction, just pray to me this way. And then when you're in another mess, pray to me another way. No, it's not saying that. This is, pray to me this way all the time. Okay. Now it says, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. What that is saying is that you're acknowledging right there, God, give me the daily wisdom. Give me the daily know-how. Give me that daily thing that I need to survive, to get through the day, to get through my job, to get through this addiction, to get through this depression, to get through this PTSD, to get through this bad thing that I'm going through because I'm extremely pissed off right now. I need that daily bread, God, just for today. I don't need the daily bread for next month or for 2 weeks from now. I need it for today. And that's all that God has given you. He's given it to you on the daily. But you got to ask for it on the daily. Okay? So you ask for, in other words, now you're asking to give you that daily bread. And when you do that, you're bringing into existence, and you are now confessing the things that are wrong, the things that you know that you're not doing right. In other words, you're confessing your sins at this point. You know what I mean? You're confessing the know-how that, God, I know that I'm doing these drugs. I know that they're bad for me, but I got no control over it, so I need you. I need that daily bread, Lord God, for you to help me get rid of what I'm going through. I got no control over this anger right now, God, and I need that daily bread for you to take control of that for me, because I can only control what I can control. And I'm asking for the wisdom to give me the courage to control the things I can, but to know the difference, that the things that I can't, I want to give those to you. And then it goes on to say that lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And you're then acknowledging, okay, God, now that I'm here, now that I'm doing this, I need the wisdom to know that I recognize the red flags, because I know what I'm doing wrong. I know where I need the help, and I know that I can't do it alone. So I need the wisdom so that I can in turn there manifest those things in my mind, and in turn there, the actions that come out therein are positive actions that come from you, come from your direction, because the way that I'm doing it is not working, and I need the help. I know that I need the help. And when you understand the prayer, and then you put it in perspective into your life of addiction or whatever problem it is that you're having, and like mine personally, I had to do that and interpret that into my drug addiction, into my childhood traumatic experiences, and I had to do it in also into the PTSDs that I deal with. So all of those things are things that I incorporate into my prayers, and how I'm praying, and how I'm meditating, and how I'm setting healthy boundaries, and how I'm, going through my day. Because what I do in my life is, I'm not, going through my life so that I can deal with my life months in advance. You know what I mean? Because that's not how I'm doing that. What I'm doing is, I'm doing it so that I can deal with it on a daily basis, because the problems exist for me on the daily basis. They don't just come up every 30 days. You know what I mean? They don't just come up every 12 months. They come up every single day, that I got to deal with my PTSDs. I got to deal with my childhood traumatic experiences. I got to deal with my, drug addiction. It's all of those things collaborated into one that I'm dealing with, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like I get it stuck, because having a neurological brain disorder like that, it is, it's an ongoing process of work. You know what I mean? It's because the minute that I let up is the minute that I go back into my addiction. The minute that I let up is the minute that I go back into the isolation, into the depression, into the world of just negativity and being upset all the time, and into the world of blaming others for, how I'm going to live my life. So it's imperative that I do things in a positive way and know that I need to ask for the help. And whether it's asking for the help of my peer support, if it means that I got to attend more peer support groups, or if it means that I got to attend more NA meetings, or go to an AA meeting, or just help out a fellow friend, or whatever it is that I have to do to keep myself in my positive boundaries so that my life doesn't go rogue into the negativity, then that's what I do. And and the thing is that you really have to be aware, and you have to be hopeful, open-minded, and willing to do the work. Know that you have to do. You're gonna have to, roll the sleeves up and get busy, because being in the world of positivity and recovery isn't for the lazy. That is one thing I can tell you. And but it's fun. You know what I mean? The thing that it doesn't matter how much work that I put into it, it's fun. It makes me happy. It's making me. I look at life differently, and to know that I can help somebody else, and wanting to help somebody else. You know what I mean? It's weird how that works, is that you start wanting to help other people. You see people who are struggling, and you see the red flags in other people's lives, and you want to jump in and say, hey, you know what? I can help you. I may not be able to get you all the way there, but I got a stepping stone right here for you, and maybe this will get you to the next step where you gotta be. And that's why I do my video podcast, because I feel that I need to share my story. I need to share experiences. I need to share things that I'm going through in my journey, and also sharing things that I've already gone through, and to elaborate on the things that have worked and not worked for me is crucial, because I'd hate to see somebody spinning their wheels, and I know exactly what the end result is going to be, because I've already been there, done that. And if I sit back and say nothing and just watch you fall, shame on me. You know what I mean? That's not how it should be. And so I really encourage you guys to, if you're having trouble with your higher power, and if you're having trouble with understanding that type of thing, I would encourage you to pray in a way to ask the Lord, ask your higher power for the wisdom to understand how to pray. You know what I mean? But you keep doing these things on a repetitive basis, and recite those prayers, the Our Father prayer, recite that Serenity prayer, and understand them in depth. And to know that if you are truthful inside of your soul, and you are truthful about wanting the change, and wanting to help others, and wanting to help yourself, number one, is going to be key to you, really succeeding into the world of recovery positivity. And it is I think it's a good thing. You know what I mean? I really do. And I just encourage, the more people that's out there talking about it and trying to help others is going to be one of the things that is going to help our society in dealing with a problem and that epidemic that we have going on in this world on the daily. We have people dying every single day of drugs and alcohol, and it is an epidemic that is spreading like wildfire, and we need as many extinguishers as we can get on board. And that's one of my goals, is to try to touch as many lives as I can through this podcast and helping people and spreading the words and letting you know that you're not alone. You're not. It's not the end of the road for you. You know what I mean? And if you're already in the world of recovery and positivity, there's many things that you can do. Be open-minded. Be willing to help out somebody else and to change a little bit, because it's not, it's, changing, adding a little bit of spice to the things that are that you're doing. Adding a little bit more is always a good thing. So you know just don't overwhelm yourself with things that you cannot change, but you want to. That's the praying for the wisdom to understand and to know where you're going, and to know where it is that you need to direct your life so that you can help and so that you can get better in your life too, and in your journey of recovery and positivity. So at this time, I'd like to encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, so leave me a comment if there's any topic that you want to discuss or talk about, or if you just want to dissect a little bit of the topics that I've already got going on. Feel free to leave me a comment and give me your feedback. But I can only do so much, and the reason that I do this podcast again is to help out the addict who still suffers, and the homeless person, and the veterans, because I'm a veteran myself, and who's dealing with homelessness and drug addiction and PTSDs and those sort of things, and all these different neurological brain disorders, depression and anxieties. And if you subscribe to my channel, just know that you're helping another veteran, you're helping another person dealing with PTSDs, drug addiction, homelessness, all of those sorts of things. And we really appreciate all the help that we can get. The more subscribers we get, the more people we reach, and the better off I think the world will be. So I really appreciate you guys listening into the podcast today. And so please, again, all you got to do is tap that button. It doesn't cost you a thing, and you know that you'll be helping somebody out. So I really appreciate you guys listening to my podcast on When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug.